Hello and welcome back to another episode of the TGS, the Gyan Show. And let's say you have $1 billion idea in your mind which can change the world, and if not the world, then such an idea which can have a great impact on the society. It could make people lives easier, or an existing business you see around yourself which you think you can provide better services or product than others, or just turn around an unorganized business into an organized one, like the taxi service which already has a business but was not organized, so Uber decided to bring its services into and bring the taxi drivers on one single platform, and also by providing great customer service. And now you can book a cab while sitting at home from your smartphone. And also our OYO rooms also organized the unorganized hotel rooms and brought them together on a single platform, which created easy access for the customers. But the problem here is, if you don't have enough capital to build business around it, or you have an existing business which is doing great in your region and you are seeing the signs of growth in it, so now you want to expand it across the country, but due to the lack of capital you aren't able to do it. So in this podcast we are going to discuss that in what ways you can get your initial funding, and that is seed capital, and from who, and how can you get the funding to expand your business around the country or across the globe. I am your host Mayur.
And I'm Dhawal.
So let's get right into this topic.
So, your first approach for the funding must be your friends and family, as you can easily communicate or share your business plan without hesitation to them. But before asking for money, you must have a proper business plan ready. With the help of this plan, you can easily make them understand what are your strategies, what is the product, how will you sell the product, how will you generate profits, and if you are able to convince them, you'll easily get the funding. And while asking for money, you can ask them that if they are giving an investment or a loan. If you are taking a loan, you must return it back at a particular date. But if you are taking an investment, you must communicate and negotiate on the equity part or what he wants in return for the investment. After the funding is raised, you execute your plan, and when you start earning profits and need to expand, then you can take money from your friends and family. They can't provide you with that much capital for expansion, so you can go to banks and approach them for loans, business loans and all.
If your company is not profitable right now, but your vision says that it will grow and become profitable in the future, then you can approach an angel investors for the seed capital. But before approaching an angel investors, you need to clear the reason for the investment. You need it for the geographical expansion, the product development, hiring great talent, new office space, new technology which will increase the efficiency, and also to compete against the competitors in the market. You need to know your company inside out and then approach for funding. Angel investors invest in startups that has potential to grow in future. They invest in a company on a funding range of as low as $50,000 to $1 million. After this funding, you have expanded your business in your country and now you want to take your company across the world. You need venture capitalists which can provide you with as low as $1 million or up to $1 billion on the basis of your potential and skill of the creating demand for your product. Grow your business and make it more profitable. VCs are basically a group of professionals who invest in business on behalf of the rich people who don't know or don't have much knowledge to where to invest. They take other people's money as a crowdfunding and then invest in other businesses like SoftBank. They have a specific funding called a Vision Fund, where they can take money from other billionaires and firms and then invest that money on other businesses and companies they think that have much potentials to grow. Some other well-known VCs are Sequoia Capital, Tiger Global, and etc. They also provide you with great networks for your company and also bring great talent on board from corners of the globe. And that if you want any more investment, you have two options: either going public and get listed on the stock market, or get an private equity funding. Private equity funding is when some billionaires who run his own company but invest personally on a startup or a business like Ratan Tata. He has invested in many Indian startups, including Urban Clap, Urban Ladder, Snapdeal, Xiaomi, Ola Cabs, Paytm, which are the well known across India. And Peter Thiel, the author of 0 to 1, has invested in Airbnb, Oyo Rooms, Facebook, Lyft, and etc. These are some well known entrepreneurs who have invested in well known startups. And after that, the last way to raise funds is through IPO, which is initial public offering. There you can list your company shares on the stock market and raise funds from the general public and giving an exit to the initial investors who stuck by your company from day one and cash in on their investments. In India, there is a clause that to bring your company IPO, you need to show that your company has generated profits in the past 3 years. But in US, Japan, China, UK, which are the major markets, there are no such clauses. Indian market is more concerned about its public money. It doesn't want to lose its public money in company which are not profitable.
So now you know whom to get your funding from, but how can you approach them and how can you convince them for funding or for investment? It's just like you did it to your family or friends, but this time the business model must be more into detail. You need to explain your business model properly. For that, you have to prepare an elevator pitch or a pitch desk. If you meet an investor in a party or at any spot where you want him to invest in your company, you have to prepare a pitch which is not more than 1 minute or so. You have to explain what is your business about, how well it is doing till now, how do you generate your profits, and how are you competing with others in the market, and what competitive advantage you can get or you have in the market. If your pitch sounds interesting to him, he'll give you his card or his number and set a date for you to meet him for the investment. Then you have to explain your model to him in that meeting. You must know prior to a meeting that what things he'll ask for or what points does the investor look for before investing in any business. You must prepare yourself for those questions which are common, and your model must be simple for you to remember and for him to understand. Ask yourself what all questions you would ask someone if you were an investor and you were to invest in any company. Ask yourself that what ways or what things would you look in your company before investing. The most basic ones could be what is your product or service about, what plan do you have, how many people or what talent do you have, or how are you going to sell it in the market, how are you better than other players in the market or other companies, do you even have a unique point or process that the investor will invest in, why should the investor invest in your company, how are you planning to expand it? How and where will you use the money? And at what time can the investor expect a break even point and profitability and etc. You must have the answers for all of these questions and must prepare everything before and go with a foolproof plan so that the investor has no reason to not invest in your company. And the private investors, they'll always get deep into your company and then invest carefully. So you must know what all things you need to include and avoid. Try to avoid the minor parts and keep your pitch and your meeting short, and your business plan should be all about business and not anything else. So before approaching any investor, you must prepare yourself for all of these questions. Your explanation must be short. Now you know whom can you approach for your funding and how can you approach them for the investment and what things you must prepare before approaching them. Make sure you go through the podcast again and see how you can get funding for your business and from whom you can get it. Share it with your entrepreneur friends who are in need for funds for their startups. Until next time, from TGS, The Gyan Show, we'll see you later.